Hello, namaste, good morning, and welcome to this first session of Young Indian Theosophists of the Indian section. First session I am saying because during the meeting of Young Indian Theosophists, it was discussed that it would be better to have a meeting or gathering which is more interactive in the form of group discussion. And to have the group discussion, we have to have something, a food for thought on which we are going to discuss and try to derive some insights for ourselves. And it is with this reference, it is a pleasure to inform that today we are going to have a video of J. Krishnamurti, the famous philosopher whom we all be knowing, I assume. And then after that, we are going to have some sharing on that subject, which is a very important subject about which I'm going to share soon. But before that, let us all come together and invoke the presence of that immutable principle in which we live, move, and have our being. O hidden life, vibrant in every atom. O hidden light, shining in every creature. O hidden love, embracing all in oneness. May all who feel themselves as one with thee know they are therefore one with every other. Welcome again, everyone. And it is a pleasure to inform everyone that today, as I said, that we are going to share one video of J. Krishnamurti. And as you know, that if some of us might have read his books or listened to his videos, that the approach that he takes is very original, and he takes us to the root of the problem, or rather he expects us to do that journey along with him. And so it is also a suggestion that while doing the group discussion after the meeting, let us try not to just have an intellectual discussion or opinions, counter opinions, but without trying to contradict or have conflicting opinions. Maybe if we get some insights from what he's going to say. And the subject for today's session is a very, very important subject about which I think all of us are concerned with for ourselves and for the next generation. So the subject for today is, what is the best way to educate a child? And in this video, we will see that how, when a question is asked to him, how he answers that and takes us to the meaning of the real meaning of the word education. And with that, let us see this video, and after that we'll have a discussion on this.
Club, we had invited one professor of psychology. He is with NIT Rourkela, and his wife is also professor. So they both are working on education system development of children, and more. They are also running an NGO for tribal children. So we were discussing on one article from United Nations, that was quality education in India, and in that he was highlighting today out of many child rights, there is one right called right to participate. So even in the education system, the very child who's obtaining the education has all the rights to share what is good, what is bad, or what should be done, what should not be done kind. And there he primarily spoke about, like the Professor Ramakrishna who came in the morning today to interact with us, he spoke about the children who are obtaining education in any system through a school, college, or anywhere, and even a tuition center. There are three categories of children: below average, average, and above average. And if the same teacher is teaching the three categories of students, the below average student needs a different kind of orientation, different kind of approach. And the average student is within the system is okay. And the children who are above average, who think differently, who behave differently, who learn differently, if they are not approached differently, then we are actually killing their creativity. And also the below average student who is not able to understand what is going on, he or she needs to be taken care of with some special aids. So for that, the teachers have to be also trained. So what kind of a teacher should be teaching the below average student? What kind of a teacher should, you see in our theosophic literature also, in our theosophic programs also, we see basic study camps are run by people who can, address to youth. High level talks about secret doctrine or anything, ISIS unveiled or anything beyond. If a beginner cannot understand, and we go on, talk about secret doctrine and ISIS unveiled, and in a very different manner, in a bookish manner, the beginner would not understand that. It is the same thing for education system. The categories of students is more important. And what I liked from today's discussion was this participation of child. And interestingly, he came up with a plan, like we combinedly thought about, we will do a webinar wherein people from, and some students and some of those people who really wants to bring some change. We will create another forum wherein we will do webinars and do maybe a little bit of surveys to hear out from students. I think, doables have to be planned, because we already know we are facing problems as parents also sometimes. We already observe children struggling, and there is something definitely beyond grades, marks, percentage, career counseling, job orientation. The creativity of the child, the basics of the child should not be killed. This is what I wanted to share. Thank you.
Thank you, Subralinaji. That was a very important point that you shared. And yes, apart from just being ready to get a job after education, as he said, the psyche, because a person may be having a very good job with a very good salary, but still he may suffer from stress, depression, or too much selfishness or something like that. So yes, thank you. And Brother Harinath has raised his hand. Brother Harinath, yeah.
Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Yeah. Here we need to concentrate on three things. Like the first one is, who is a guru? The word guru is came from Sanskrit. Like we all know that the actual meaning of guru is gu means darkness and ru means light. When you are in darkness, the person who shows you the light is actual guru. That is the Sanskrit meaning actually. So we need to concentrate on that. And the second part is like there are three types of students. Like the Uttama, the first one is Uttama, the second one is Majjama, and the third one is Adama. As Madam Suvarlina has said right now, there are different kinds of students. So in Sanskrit, they have divided into three types: the Uttama, Majjama, and Adama. Uttama people can learn very spontaneously, and they are like clever people. And the Majjama is in like between these two. cases. And the Adhama, if you try to teach him also, he won't listen, because his conscious levels are tempered like that. So we need to understand the categories of these three types of students first of all, and based on that we need to plan the curriculum. Then only it will work out. Otherwise, we can't teach everything in the same manner. And the third part is like we need to understand what is concentration and what is attention. The difference between the concentration and the attention. So if we need to educate the student in the perspective of attention, not in the perspective of concentration, I would like to say, because if you understand what is concentration, there is a conflict in concentration. Even JK also used to say that only. There is a conflict in concentration, whereas in attention there is no conflict. You just pay real observing the thing, real observe the thing is lies in that attention. So we need to help the child to inculcate this habit of attention rather than concentration. So a child has to educate in terms of, as I have said in the last symposium also, a child has to be educated in 5 aspects. Like he should be trained well in physical education. There should be a physical education. There should be a vital education. There should be a spiritual education. There should be a psychological education, and there should be a mental education. These are all 5 aspects we should have to give for a child to grown up or to to have that inward flowering in him. So these are my inputs. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Harinath, for your comments and insights. Yes, each child is unique, and so we have to approach the child with that, and instead of imposing from outside, we have to try to bring out what's inside of the child. And yes, Brother Dinesh Karthik, you wanted to say something. Kindly unmute yourself.
Yeah, hi. So, see, I believe like we in India, basically we had this Mekale system of education. Usually the British started to prepare us for some kind of clerical jobs. So we are just still following them and with this little bit of modification. So what I understand or what my view is, it is kind of good to have a certain that kind of education to a child, which covers minimal subject in all different parts of like geography, history. I do understand psychology and other areas are not there, like interpersonal skills, buildings, or everything that's not there. So we can just add them. But most importantly, I think what Krishnamurti is trying to explain is we have to understand ourselves to see, to see us in the mirror, like to read the book of the way we were evolved as a human and how we treat different emotions and how we are able to handle them. So this is like, I think it is like too much for the level of a kid, like at least 10 or 12 or 15 years old. I mean, I think even for us it is very difficult. So we cannot expect this from a child. I think it is not, what he's talking is not for a child actually. Even it is applicable for us. Even still we are not able to reach that level to understand ourselves, to control or what is the emotions, to anger, to manage our anger. Many things are happening. So I think it's better. So as many of us were talking, so I think memory is like very key important aspect. Even though according to his view, he's saying like it is not just as education to follow memory, but what I think is right, like country like India, where there are so much population, I think the marks or grades, are is very much important for them even to filter the people who are applying for a job. Assume we have like 10 vacancies. Okay, thousands of people are applying. So they have to set certain benchmark at least to filter down and to filter the people who are like applying. So that is very essential. So like assume they set a benchmark of some grade A or B or something. So 900 people just are filtered from there. So for 10 positions we have like 100. Then they have some group discussions, some other rounds to filter further down, and they have like 50 or 20. So they are going to do other interview, second or third level interview, and they are going to pick 10. So I think for a country like India, it is very essential to have the marks. But when you compare the, like we were discussing on average, below average, above average students, I think that is where the marks come into play. It is essential. They need to have a particular attention that is very much needed. But again, the strength of us is like, particularly in India, population is the biggest strength. Population is the biggest weakness. Wherever we go, we have too many people. That is good. Again, wherever we go, we have too many people. That is again really bad in terms of resources, water consumption, energy, everywhere. Everything is getting, it has like plus and minuses. So to have so much people trained to handle this skill, still we don't match that. We don't have that much of teachers or special trainers for them for below average kid and above average kid. I think that is where the mark come into play. So it is good, fair enough for the kid to just go pass. So I think it is important for the parents to understand, if my kid is below average, it's good for him to pass. He can pursue some other career, not just to become a doctor or engineer or like any professional. Later on, it can move on other levels. So that is my idea. Or
No, yeah, that's a very practical thing that you have shared, and I think the same thing is written in the chat by Brother Jonathan, that I think Krishnamurti is correct that we do not give children a more psychological model style of education, although my one concern is justifying the existence of such education empirically. Means what he's saying, that is of course as like an ideal situation, that or as you said, the number of people are more and the vacancies are less, so it's like a competition always. But I think yeah, what he has saying but maybe the change begins with a very small thing. Now, I mean, about 20 years or 30 years back, we couldn't think of so many career options. But now these days, I think it's not just a doctor or engineer or civil servant. I mean, there are so many options because times are changing and people want to do what they like to do instead of just to do a job and get money. Because ultimately, if your hobby is aligns with your work, you will love your job or work for the whole life. So that was a very good point. Thank you, Brother Dinesh, for that. And I think you're
May I
joining.
make one observation, please, sir? I am
Hi.
Dr. Hemant Sharma from Jodhpur,
Hi.
Rajasthan.
Hi,
I am
yes,
a
sir.
retired professor of psychology in university.
Yes,
Just
sir.
1 minute I want to take.
Yeah.
In light of J. Krishnamurti's ideas and virtues, in modern times, in our new education policies, there are 3 aspects as WHO also depicted: knowledge, skill, and values. Previously, it was performance-based education, competence-based education, nowadays achievement-based education, but value-based education. We have to develop certain values and virtues in the light of our responsibility, our commitment, or we can say in large terms, in universal aspect, universal theme, or universal peace and brotherhood. So we can develop our knowledge, our skills as WHO proposed, but in light of J. Krishnamurti's perspective, one more aspect regarding our human values and virtues, that is known as the affective domain. We have developed so much our competence in knowledge as well as our social and life skills. So what are your ideas in light of J. Krishnamurti's views in theosophical touch of point? In modern terms, we require more these manners, etiquettes, our inner feelings for humility, for humanity, and at a large scale, world at a peace. Please, thank you very much. Okay, sir.
Thank you, Sharmaji, for sharing such a important thing with all of us. That yes, that this itself is an evidence that times are changing and the human,
Mm.
I mean, the collective thinking is changing. And as you said, the competence and skills is needed, but along with that, value is also added. And it completely goes as what we just heard with J. Krishnamurti. And I would also like to share at this point that even in theosophical circles in Philippines, we have Golden Link colleges, which are run by Brother Vicente Hauchin, which are working on these principles only. And in Adyar Theosophical Society headquarters, a new school has been started, Adyar Theosophical Academy, which is more like a center for self-transform or transformative education, where the students are not taught by fear or by by carrot or stick method, but they are given a free environment without fear, where they can express themselves and uh, more and more things they can adapt and share instead of just memorizing the things. So thank you so much, Sharmaji, for sharing that. And before I invite Taralji, who has switched on his video, Brother Jonathan has also written that Rudolf Steiner, who was also inspired by Theosophy, also has a similar system set up, I believe, with this wall. Yes, yes, that's correct, Brother Jonathan. That Rudolf Steiner has really worked a lot in this direction, and a number of schools have been run, and even J. Krishnamurti Foundation runs many schools based on his philosophy. So let us see, gradually and slowly, the collective human psyche will go and reach to that point. So, Brother Taralji, you want to say something? Unmute.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. First of all, it was really a wonderful speech which had triggered so many things. I would like to point on the evaluation of students, medium, weak, or intelligent. Now, what happens that, one of the gentlemen said, that knowledge, skill, and practical things like sports and other things, these three have different value systems. No single teacher, no single person can value it. So what is required, that all these skills are to be honored in a similar way. Like five Pandavas, they were going to Gurukul, but Yudhishthir was the person who was best in knowledge, whereas Arjun was best in, let's say, Dhanur Vidya. Bhim was there with Gada, and so Nukul and Sadev had different qualities. Now, all these qualities are required by world. Like just now we heard in the speech that we are staying in this world. We have to earn, we have to live. That is also a part which we have to give to society. But at the same time, we cannot uh, forget to foresee that whatever difficulty has come in our education system carries on in the future. I also studied in the same education system, but luckily the school had various activities, various skill, and never in classroom only the report card was the value system. Our class teacher always used to say that he or she is good in this, he is good in knowledge, he is good in this. That's why this section is the best. So that section thing is world. That classroom is the world. We have to believe in our skills and believe in the skills of the younger ones right from when they are toddler or when they are just seeing. As a parents, as a human being, as a citizen, that they develop their own skill, and that is why what is going to give world a very good, beautiful world with peace, with love, and with not only knowledge but also use of knowledge in a practical way. Thank you. That's all I wanted to share.
Thank you, Taralji. Yeah, as always, yeah, you bring up very valuable insights. Yes, because that has been one of the challenges, that how can be two children, I mean two students basically, and we all are students basically, in the school of life can be compared, because one may be a very good artist and another can be a very good mathematician. So a mathematician can earn 100 out of 100 marks in the class, but maybe artist, he doesn't get mathematics much, but he is a very good artist. And if we start saying based on our system that the person who got more marks is better than the person who got less marks, so that's very uh, unfair basically, because then we are giving more importance to a particular, as was J. Krishnamurti was saying, maybe a lopsided approach. And but we have to approach collectively, as I think everyone might be uh, thinking also, that different kind of flowers make a garden. So each flower is unique. So each child is unique, and we have to bring out the hidden talent of the child. And that may be the best way of educating the child. And of course, whether we are educated, we have to question ourselves also. As he said, whether we are free of all the prejudices and conditionings that we are carrying in our mind and we want to impose on the next generation. So that is also a big question that we leave with everyone to contemplate and think. Thank you, Taralji. If anyone else has anything to share, although this discussion does not mean that we will reach any conclusion or change anybody's understanding, but this is just to have a brainstorming to at least think upon these things among which we have spending our lives and going on, because we rarely get times to think upon these subjects. And Brother Karthik has something to say. Yes, Brother Karthik.
Yeah, I just have some four key points to say, beginning from the discussion. So one, which is, in terms of adding principle, good quality, good principles to the during the teaching. During our times, we had this moral education, moral instruction. There is to be one class, there is to be one section period completely dedicated to all the good stories, and the story ends with a moral. Someone will come and tell us. So it will be a little, even when it is little, it is of some help, giving us some kind of value to us. So I think that is, I'm not sure if currently any school has any moral instructions or some kind of a class currently. I mean, as far as India is concerned. So they are, and the second one is we are constantly focusing on the child alone, but we should rather focus on the teachers also.
Teachers also, yes.
And as well as the schools and management. Okay, so what is happening currently is, as management schools are setting targets for the teachers to ensure the percentage of pass, or they want to have 100% or to have toppers in the school. So the teachers are under enormous pressure to achieve this target, otherwise they will lose their job. So, and when we think why the schools are setting this target, again it comes to the parents. So parents will, ready to put their kids in such a 100% result oriented schools. So the cycle goes on. School says parents, parents says teachers, teachers says management, and it is all a cycle. So we have to stop. We have to decide which is good for our kids, and then, okay, I don't want any marks or anything. Let them just go pursue whatever he wants. So then comes the third aspect. So when you say if a kid wants to excel in art or anything creative, it's up to the parent to put them in a additional extra class. Right now we have like so many sports, tennis, skatings, roller skates, many trainings they are going, they are keep on, depending on the parents, like some music classes they are ready to go. So it is up to the parents, not the school as a, or as a system, to give the kids every area, different areas. And I think the last fourth point I think is very important. We are talking as if like the world, as even Krishnamurti said, the world is like not so easy. So it is not only enough we give them good morals or good things or good principles we teach the kid, but we should also teach them how hard the world is and what they need to survive. Like Robert Greene said in 33 Arts of War, like it is not enough like what we are ready, we are just going to war every day, just we don't have any weapons. So we should know how to defend ourselves. Let's not offend, at least we should know how to defend ourselves, and we should also teach that, not just some sort of good principles. So just the last quote, I'm going to stop. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Dinesh, for sharing with us. And I think a lot of thoughts and ideas have been shared today. If anybody wants to say or share something more, please, you're most welcome. Otherwise, we'll proceed for end of today's session. But of course,
Can I see 2 lines, sir?
Yes, Taraji.
The thing is that we always say that this type we should not put these things on our students or something on the students, but we never try to listen to them. Sometimes these young, even kids of 4th standard, 3rd standard, have brilliant ideas.
Yeah.
And these ideas never come out because of the fear that whether it will be acknowledged or it will be thrown off. What will others say? So this fears of what will others say is the biggest thing which stops the education. By education, I mean not only subjective, but also humanitarian or any other education also. It is taught by this fear of not performing. I think whatever maybe the class of the teacher, but if we just put this thing in youngsters' mind, that don't get afraid of fear of failure, because failure, according to I think one great person, is first attempt in life. So if you fail by, say, you get 20% marks and fail by 80%, it is not it. You have failed by 80%. You have passed by 20% in that particular activity. Next time, maybe you will get 50%. So you have grown from 20 to 30. If we teach these things to youngsters, that you like Rome, there is a axiom, I think, that the Rome was not built in one day. Yeah. So similarly, no education system can teach a student in just a span of 2 or 3 years. But if we just put this little thing, don't be afraid of expressing yourself, then I think we have won half the battle, because the mind of youngsters is tremendously working faster than ours. Shikarji, you just said that Adyar school has very beautiful courses and have performed that. You won't believe that I have just tried one small thing in a Goenka school here, got the syllabus from Adyar, and amongst 350 students, when I expressed those things, the teacher was so happy that we never knew that students can emote this much. So that is what I wanted to share, that we are not giving them chance to express themselves. Rather than that, we are imposing things that it should be done like this. Lastly, there was a mention of mindset in the speech, that what we are doing here is with only a part of our mind, which is conscious mind. Now, whatever I have studied so far, the only 10% of our mind acts when we are awake. 90% of the mind works when we are asleep. Because if you observe someone asleep, how does a particular person take a particular position of sleeping? He is asleep. He cannot guide his hands or anything. But that 90% subconscious mind takes over. And this subconscious mind is the mind which also get activated when one is meditative. So if you teach students to express themselves, actually for that moment, they would be in the meditative state, because they will be contacting that 90% awake. So this was what I had been doing. So I just wanted to share this.
Thank you so much, Taraji, for sharing with us that very noble
May I
thing.
request something, sir?
Yes, Bhavna ji. Yes, please.
Yeah. I request all the seniors to prepare the syllabus of Theosophy from basic to higher level for UG and PG students. I will try to add Theosophy as the syllabus of philosophy in my university. So please.
Okay, Bhavna ji, that's a very good proposal that you have shared, and we have among us here a very senior theosophist also, and also we can put it up with the administration in ADR or Indian section, and we'll try to work
Shikhar,
on that.
remember we had already planned the syllabus outlined maybe a year back. You and me had tried once.
Yes,
And
yes, yes.
after that, Mrs. Munshi, like Archana Munshi and me and Kritika from YIT, we had again, when Pranchi was also assisting, we have compiled a list of things from the children themselves. It's not about us. In the program itself, we invited school-going children. So probably whatever we have done, I'll email you.
Okay.
We would definitely go ahead with the brainstorming session. And today morning, whoever we met, no, because they are not with Theosophy Society, aisa nahi hai, we will call them as well, because they are already. So there are many people working in this direction. It is a work we should do as a social or a education initiative.
Definitely.
So I'm sure many people will join and we will do something good.
Yeah, no, that's really.
Please share, madam, your syllabus to me.
Yes. I will first of all, because it's a compiled list, we will talk about it, ma'am. Definitely we'll talk about it. Shikharji can mediate and we can do it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. And I think it's already time, and we have had a very useful discussion. And to close with a couple of messages from the chat is Brother Harinath has written, comparison leads to destructive format of education, and we need to stop comparing and develop the habit of attention, not concentration. That's definitely a yes. Brother Nathan writes, I think parents or guardians have a greater role to play in the development of a child's life by paying attention to a child's abilities and assist the child to develop in that line. That's, I think, definitely. And what we have been discussing also. Our modern way of education that we acquire in a class rarely takes care of this. Hence, it kills off the natural talents of the child. And Brother Jiten Sampath writes, let all children be aware that there is an inner teacher in every being. I think everyone comes to realize that at some point of time. And it was good meeting all of you. Thank you very much for inviting me via Zoom link. So thank you, everyone. With this, we come to the close of today's session. Again, would like to repeat that these sessions for discussion are not to convince anyone or to change the opinions of anyone, but rather to go beyond opinions and have a state of mind which is like free from our prejudices and conditionings, and of course to take back with us certain insights and contemplate on these very important things in our life that we are living. And on behalf of Indian section, I would like to say, extend a heartfelt gratitude to everyone for joining this session from India and abroad. And Bhavana ji, just would like to, if you can share your email in the, I don't know if I think I have your email, right?
I will share.
Just kindly share your email. So
yeah.
Okay. And with this, we come to close of our today's session. And let us all come together again, once again, and using our thought power for the welfare of everyone. Oh. May everyone be happy. May everyone be healthy. May everyone see what is favorable and auspicious. May no one suffer. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah. Sarve santu niramaya. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu. Ma kaschit dukkhavag bhave. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you everyone once again, and see you next Sunday. and have a great week ahead. Namaskar.
Thank you. Thank you, Shikharji. Namaskar.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you.